Ambassador Hannah Park stood at the back of the massive council chamber. The room stretched higher than any building on Earth. Thousands of aliens filled the seats around her. Some had scales. Others had fur. A few glowed with soft light. They all had one thing in common. They looked at her with disgust. She had been Earth's representative for 3 years now. 3 long years of silence and insults. Every week, she came to these meetings. Every week. She listened. She never spoke unless asked a direct question. That almost never happened. Today's session focused on trade routes near the Outer Rim. Hannah took notes on her tablet. The information would go back to Earth. Her government wanted to know everything about the Council, so she watched and learned. The humans still observe us like insects studying giants. A voice boomed across the chamber. Hannah looked up. The speaker was a Vraxian. His kind stood over 8 feet tall with thick gray skin like stone. Why do we allow these soft creatures in our hall? Laughter filled the room. Hannah's face stayed calm. She had learned not to react. Any emotion gave them more ammunition. They are weak, another alien added. This one had 4 arms and spoke through a breathing apparatus. They need water to survive. Water, the most common substance in the galaxy, and they die without it. More laughter. Hannah typed the insult into her notes. Earth scientists would analyze it. They studied everything the Council said about humanity. Far from the Council chamber, Captain Junho Kim sat in his command chair aboard the Silent Watcher. His ship floated in the darkness between stars. No one knew they were there. Earth's stealth technology made that possible. The Council thought humans were primitive. They had no idea what Earth could really do. "Captain, we're picking up another transmission," Lieutenant Samanjang said from her station. She was young but sharp. Her fingers moved quickly across her console. "It's about us, again," Junho nodded. "Let me hear it." "Let me hear it." The voice that came through was translated by their computer. It belonged to a Council military commander. "The human situation needs a solution. They contaminate our galaxy with their presence. We should remove them from their planet and use it for something useful." Saman's jaw tightened. Junho saw her hand form a fist. He understood her anger. They all felt it. But they had orders. Watch. Listen. Do nothing. Add it to the log, Junho said quietly. Send it back to command. "Sir, how long do we keep taking this?" Saman asked. "We have weapons they can't imagine. Our ships are faster than theirs. We follow orders, Lieutenant." Junho cut her off gently. "Admiral Minho has his reasons." Back on Earth, in a secure facility beneath Seoul, Admiral Minho Kang reviewed the latest reports. Hundreds of pages detailed every insult, every threat, every dismissive comment about humanity. The file had been growing for 50 years. Dr. Yuna Choi entered his office. She carried her own tablet filled with research. "Admiral, I've finished the analysis on Council biology." "And?" Minho asked. "They're stagnant," Yuna said. She pulled up charts and graphs. "Most Council species haven't evolved significantly in thousands of years. They reached a peak and stopped. But humans? We adapt constantly. Our innovation rate is 400% higher than any species in the Council." Minho leaned back in his chair. "They think we're weak because we're young." "Exactly," Yuna confirmed. "They judge us by their standards. They don't understand that our flexibility is our strength. While they perfected one way of living, we learned to survive anywhere. In deserts, in ice, underground, underwater. We bend. We change. They can't." "Keep that research classified," Minho ordered. "The longer they underestimate us, the better." Ambassador Hana's day grew worse as the Council session continued. A proposal came to the floor. Earth would be banned from 847 star systems. The restriction had no real reason. The Council simply didn't want humans nearby. "All in favor?" the Council speaker asked. Hands, claws, tentacles, and appendages of every kind rose into the air. The vote was overwhelming. Only 7 species abstained. Not one voted against it. Hana marked it in her notes. Banned from 847 systems. The number would matter later. Everything mattered later. A Vraxian counselor stood. I move that we also discuss the human classification. Should they be considered fully sentient? The chamber erupted in discussion. Hana felt ice in her stomach. This was new. This was dangerous. They barely have interstellar travel, someone shouted. They crawled out of their system only decades ago. Their technology is laughable, another added. Chemical rockets and primitive computers. Hana almost smiled at that. If only they knew. Earth's quantum computers operated at speeds the Council couldn't measure. Their ships used gravitational manipulation drives. Their weapons could crack planets. But the Council saw what Earth wanted them to see. Old technology. Weak defenses. A primitive species. The debate raged for an hour. Finally, the speaker called for order. We will table this discussion for next month's session. Prepare your arguments. Hana left the chamber as she always did. Alone. No one spoke to her. No one acknowledged her existence. She was a ghost in their grand hall. On her ship back to Earth, she recorded her report. Day 1095. The Council grows bolder. They now question our sentience openly. I estimate within 6 months they will propose formal restrictions on human activity throughout the galaxy. She paused the recording. Her hands shook. Not from fear. From rage. She had endured 3 years of mockery. She watched them laugh at her species. She smiled politely while they called humans animals. She resumed recording. I recommend we maintain current policy. Let them believe we are weak. Let them believe we are stupid. When the time comes, their shock will be complete. Back on the Silent Watcher, Captain Junho received new orders. Move to Sector 7. Observe Council military exercises. Record everything. Record. Yes, sir, he responded. Then to his crew. You heard the Admiral. We're moving out. The ship turned silently in space. Its engines left no trail. Its hull bent light around it. The Council had no idea Earth had been watching them for 50 years. Watching. Learning. Waiting. Lieutenant Salmon looked at her captain. Sir, when will we stop hiding? Junho stared out at the stars. When they push us too far, Lieutenant. When their insults become actions. When talking is no longer enough. And when will that be? Junho thought of Ambassador Hana sitting alone in that massive chamber. He thought of the reports about enslaving humanity. He thought of the Council's arrogance. Soon, he said quietly. Very soon. 6 months passed like a slow poison spreading through the galaxy. Ambassador Hana returned to the Council chamber for session 2847. She knew this one would be different. The agenda listed the human question as the main topic. The chamber filled quickly. More species attended than usual. Word had spread that something important would happen today. Hana took her usual spot at the back. She wore her formal Earth uniform. Dark blue with silver trim. She wanted them to remember what she represented when this was over. The Krillian delegate stood first. His species resembled tall insects with hard shells. We propose the human quarantine protocol. Humans should be restricted to their home system. No travel beyond their star. Hana typed the proposal into her notes. Her face showed nothing. The contamination must stop, the Krillian continued. They spread their primitive culture wherever they go. We must contain them. The Vraxian delegate rose next. He was even larger than the ones Hana had seen before. My government has prepared a study. It proves humans are genetically inferior to all Council species. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed human anatomy next to various alien forms. Red marks highlighted human weaknesses. Fragile bones. Thin skin. Limited sensory capability. Need for specific atmospheric conditions. Look at them, the Vraxian said with contempt. They die if the air is too hot or too cold. They need food every few hours, water constantly, sleep regularly. They are weak in every measurable way. The presentation continued for 6 hours. 6 hours of detailed explanations about why humans were inferior. Hana sat through all of it. She memorized every claim, every insult, every piece of false data they presented. The vote came at hour 7. All in favor of the human quarantine protocol? 39 species voted yes. 7 abstained. 0 voted no. The protocol passed. Hana stood slowly. She walked to the central floor. This was unusual. Humans never spoke without permission. The chamber fell silent. I acknowledge the Council's decision, she said clearly. Earth will receive notification of the quarantine. That is all. She turned and left. Behind her, the aliens whispered. Some laughed. None understood what had just happened. Hana had not argued, had not begged, had not shown any emotion. She simply accepted it and left. This scared a few of the smarter ones. On the Silent Watcher, Lieutenant Salmon compiled her tactical report. Captain Junho read it carefully. The numbers were shocking. The Council military is spread too thin, Salmon explained. They patrol 8,000 systems with only 2,000 ships. They rely on fear, not actual strength. Interesting, Junho said. What about their weapons? Outdated, Salmon replied. Our shields can handle their strongest attacks. Our weapons would cut through their hulls like paper. Captain, we could defeat their entire fleet with what we have in this sector alone. Junho nodded slowly. Send this to Admiral Minho. But remember, we're observers only. For now, Salmon added quietly. Junho didn't correct her. Ambassador Hana's ship landed on Earth 3 days later. She had not been home in 3 years. The air smelled different than she remembered. Cleaner. Earth had improved while she was gone. A military transport took her to Seoul. The Defense Council waited in an underground facility. Admiral Minho sat at the head of the table. President Jiho Huang was there too. Dr. Yuna Choi attended via hologram from her lab. Welcome home, Ambassador, President Jiho said warmly. Your service has been invaluable. 80. Hana placed her tablet on the table. I need to show you something. She played footage from the council session. The room watched in silence as aliens mocked humanity for 6 hours. When it finished, no one spoke for a full minute. Hana broke the silence. Her voice cracked. They don't just dismiss us, they despise us. They think we're animals. They laugh about enslaving us. Admiral Minho's face remained calm, but his eyes burned. I've read your reports. All of them. Then you know it's getting worse, Hana said. She wiped her eyes. 3 years of holding everything inside came pouring out. They passed the quarantine. Next session, they'll propose something worse. I can feel it. Dr. Yuna spoke from her hologram. I've analyzed their biology, their psychology. They're not capable of changing their minds through diplomacy. They believe they're superior. Facts won't convince them otherwise. What will? President Jiho asked. Power, Yuna said simply. They only respect strength. We've been showing them weakness. That was strategic. But there's a limit to how long we can maintain this position. Counselor Nari Lee entered the room quickly. She looked worried. Sir, we have a problem. We caught 3 council spies on Earth. They've been here for months. What did they learn? Admiral Minho asked. Nothing important, Nari replied. We fed them false information. Old technology. Fake military reports. But their presence means the council is preparing something. President Jiho stood. He walked to the window. Seoul stretched out below, glowing in the evening light. 50 years. We've waited 50 years. Built our strength in secret. Learned everything about them while they learned nothing true about us. Maybe it's time to stop hiding, Hana said quietly. Not yet, Admiral Minho replied. But soon. We need one more thing. We need them to show the galaxy who they really are. Not just insults in a council chamber. We need them to reveal their cruelty to everyone. In deep space, Captain Junho's ship detected an emergency signal. It came from a Taloran colony. The Taloran were a peaceful species. They mined rare minerals and kept to themselves. "Captain, the Taloran are under attack," Salmon reported. Council ships, a full battle group. Junho pulled up the feed. 8 Council warships surrounded a small mining station. The Taloran had no military, no weapons. They were helpless. "Why are the Council attacking them?" Junho asked. "The Taloran refused to give up their mining rights," Salmon answered. "The Council wanted the system." The Taloran said no. They watched as Council ships opened fire. The mining station exploded. Escape pods launched into space. The Council ships destroyed those too. Hundreds of Taloran died in minutes. Junho's hands gripped his chair. "Are we recording this?" "Every second, sir," Salmon confirmed. "Send it to Earth. Command needs to see this." The footage reached Admiral Minho within hours. He watched it 3 times. Then he called a meeting with Earth's leadership. "This is what the Council does to species that disobey," he said. "The Taloran were peaceful. They had rights to that system. The Council killed them all. The galaxy needs to see this," Dr. Yuna said. "They will," Minho promised. "When the time is right." President Jiho looked at his advisors. "How long until we're ready?" General Hyun Park spoke for the first time. "The fleet is ready now, sir. 300 ships, all hidden, all waiting." "And if the Council discovers them?" the President asked. "They won't," General Hyun said confidently. "Our stealth technology is decades beyond theirs. We could park a ship in orbit around their capital, and they wouldn't see it." Ambassador Hana listened to all of this. Her sadness turned to something else: determination. "I'm going back. To the Council. They need to see a human face when they make their next move. When they propose whatever horror they're planning." "Are you sure?" President Jiho asked gently. "I'm sure," Hana replied. "I want to be there when they cross the final line. I want to look them in the eyes when we respond." Admiral Minho nodded. "Then go. But know this. The moment they threaten Earth directly, we act. No more waiting. No more watching." Hana stood. "I understand, Admiral. I'll be ready." As she left Earth again, she looked back at her home planet. Blue and green and beautiful. The Council thought it was a primitive rock. They had no idea what was coming. Ambassador Minji Seo was younger than Hana, only 28 years old. Earth's government chose her for a reason. She looked innocent, hopeful, exactly the image they wanted the Council to see. Hana had trained her for 3 months. "They will insult you," Hana warned. "They will mock everything about you. Stay calm. Remember, you're not there to win arguments. You're there to witness." "To arguments? Witness what?" Minji asked. "Their true nature," Hana replied. "So when Earth responds, no one can say we didn't give them chances." Council Session 2903 began differently than others. The chamber was packed. Every species sent representatives. Some sent their leaders. Something big was happening. Minji took her place at the back. She wore the same uniform Hana once wore. She felt small in the enormous chamber. Thousands of aliens surrounded her. None looked friendly. The council speaker called the session to order. "Today, we address a matter of great importance. The human question will be resolved." Minji's heart raced. This was it. Whatever Hana had predicted was coming true. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed the Vraxian Emperor himself. He ruled an empire of 200 systems. His appearance was unprecedented. Emperors rarely attended council sessions. "Honored members of the council," the emperor began. His voice was deep and rumbling. "I come before you today with a solution to our human problem." Minji typed frantically into her tablet. Every word needed to be recorded. "We have tolerated these creatures for too long," the emperor continued. "They occupy a valuable system. They consume resources. They contribute nothing to galactic civilization. This ends today." The emperor's hologram grew larger. I propose the Human Domestication Protocol. Under this protocol, humans will be reclassified as Category 4 servitor species. Gasps filled the chamber. Category 4 meant not fully sentient. It meant property. Earth will be placed under council administration, the Emperor explained. Human adults will be assigned to work colonies throughout the galaxy. We will use their hands for labor they are suited for. Mining. Construction. Simple tasks. Minji felt sick. She kept typing. Human children will be taken to educational facilities. There, they will learn proper behavior, proper respect for their betters. In 3 generations, humans will forget they ever thought themselves equal to us. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some species cheered. Others looked uncomfortable. But none spoke against it. The Emperor raised his hand for silence. I have evidence of human barbarism, of their violent nature, of their danger to civilized species. The hologram changed. It showed footage of human history, wars, destruction, violence, all real events, but shown without context. Earth's struggles to survive looked like mindless aggression. Look at these savages, the Emperor said with disgust. They fight among themselves constantly. They destroy their own planet. They are too stupid to govern themselves. We must take control before they spread their chaos. Minji wanted to scream. The footage was real but twisted. Humans fought wars. Yes. But they also made peace. They built. They created. They grew. The Emperor showed only the worst moments. I call for an immediate vote, the Emperor demanded. All in favor of the Human Domestication Protocol? Hands rose across the chamber. Claws, tentacles, appendages of every kind. Minji counted. 46 species voted yes. The room spun around her. Any opposed? The speaker asked. One hand rose. Only one. The Talaran delegate stood. His people remembered Earth's secret help after the council attack. I vote no. This is wrong. Your objection is noted, the speaker said coldly. The motion passes. The Human Domestication Protocol is now council law. Cheers filled the chamber. Aliens celebrated like they had won a great victory. Minji sat frozen. Her hands shook. This was worse than anything Hana described. The Emperor's hologram turned to look directly at her. As for you, little human, return to your planet. Tell them council ships will arrive in 30 days. We will be merciful if they cooperate. If they resist, we will simply take what we want. Minji stood slowly. Every eye in the chamber watched her. They expected her to beg, to cry, to plead for mercy. She walked to the center floor. The same spot where Hana once stood. She looked up at the Emperor's hologram. Her voice came out steady and clear. You have made a grave miscalculation. Then she turned and walked out. Behind her, the council erupted in laughter. They thought it was a meaningless threat from a powerless species. They had no idea. On her ship, Minji's hands finally stopped shaking. She sent an encrypted message to Earth. Just 3 words. Protocol reckoning. Execute. On Earth, President Jiho Huang received the message in his office. He had been waiting for it. Hoping it wouldn't come, but knowing it would. He activated the emergency broadcast system. Every screen on Earth showed his face. Citizens of Earth. For 50 years, we have endured insults from the Galactic Council. We stayed quiet because we believed in peace. We gave them every chance to treat us with dignity. Today, they have shown us who they truly are. He played the footage from the council session. 4 billion humans watched the Emperor call them animals. Watched the council vote to enslave them. Watched their species be classified as property. We are done being quiet. President Jiho said. We gave them 50 years of chances. We learned their languages. We studied their technology. We watched and waited. Now they will learn what happens when you push humanity too far. Admiral Minho stood in the command center deep below Seoul. Around him, screens showed 300 warships, all hidden. all ready. Send the signal, he ordered. Activate all fleets. Across the galaxy, Earth's ships received the command. For 50 years, they had hidden in the darkness. Now their engines powered up. Their weapons came online. Their stealth fields dropped. In neutral space near the Council's capital, 300 human warships appeared out of nothing. One moment, empty space. The next, a massive fleet. Council sensors went crazy. Warning alarms sounded on every Council ship within range. They had never detected these vessels before. They had no idea they existed. General Hyun Park broadcast on all Council frequencies. His message was simple. You wanted our attention. You have it. Captain Junho sat on the bridge of his ship. The silent watcher was silent no more. He looked at his crew. 50 years of watching. Today, we act. Set course for Vraxian Prime. Sir, that's the Emperor's homeworld, Lieutenant Salmon said. It's protected by 1,200 warships. I know, Junho replied calmly. We're taking 40 ships. That should be enough. 40 against 1,200? Soman asked. Junho smiled. It was not a kind smile. They don't know what we can do. Let's show them. Dr. Yuna Choi prepared her final report on Council biology. But now it would be used for war, not study. She sent it to all Earth military commanders. Weak points identified. Tactical advantages confirmed. We are superior in every way that matters. Counselor Nari Lee activated Earth's spy network. For decades, human agents had infiltrated Council species. They had access to military codes, defense grids, communication systems. At Nari's signal, they all acted at once. On 47 Council homeworlds, defense systems went offline. Just for a moment. Just long enough for Earth's ships to position themselves. Ambassador Minji's ship received an escort of 50 human warships. They surrounded her like protective wolves. She looked at them through her viewport. These ships were beautiful, sleek, powerful, nothing like the primitive vessels Earth showed the Council. A communication came through. It was Admiral Minho. Ambassador, you did well. Come home. Your job is done. No, Minji replied. I'm going back to the Council. They need to see my face when they realize what they've done. As you wish, Minho said. But you'll have an escort. No one touches our ambassadors. The Council chamber was still celebrating when the alerts came in. Emergency messages from across the galaxy. Human ships appearing everywhere. Defenses failing. No one could explain it. The Emperor's hologram flickered with interference. What is happening? He demanded. The answer came on every screen in the chamber. President Jiho's face appeared. You called us animals. You voted to enslave us. Now you will learn what humans really are. This is not a negotiation. This is a reckoning. The transmission ended. The Council sat in stunned silence. For the first time in centuries, they felt something they thought they had forgotten. Fear. Captain Junho's fleet arrived at Vraxian Prime exactly 4 hours after the protocol was activated. 40 human ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. Before them, the Vraxian homeworld glowed blue and green. Around it, 1,200 warships formed a defensive wall. Impressive numbers, Lieutenant Salmon said from her station. Shame they won't matter. Junho opened a channel to all Vraxian frequencies. This is Captain Junho Kim of Earth Fleet Command. We are here to speak with your Emperor. Power down your weapons, and no one will be harmed. The response came quickly. A Vraxian admiral appeared on screen. You dare approach our homeworld with only 40 ships? You are either brave or stupid. We're efficient, Junho replied. You have 1 minute to stand down. The Vraxian admiral laughed. Attack them. Show these primitives what real power looks like. The massive Vraxian fleet moved forward. 1,200 ships against 40. Energy weapons charged. Missile bays opened. It should have been a massacre. Shields up. Junho ordered calmly. Weapons free. Target their command ships only. "We're not here to kill. We're here to teach." The Vraxian fleet opened fire first. Thousands of energy beams crossed space. They hit the human ships and simply dispersed. Earth's kinetic barriers absorbed every shot without effort. "Their weapons can't penetrate our shields," Saman reported. Just as Dr. Yuna predicted. "Return fire," Junho commanded. "Disable only. Precision shots." The human ships fired. Each shot was perfectly calculated, guided by artificial intelligence, adjusted in microseconds. The human weapons cut through Vraxian shields like they didn't exist. Ship after ship went dark, their engines destroyed but their crews alive. The battle lasted 17 minutes. In that time, Earth's 40 ships disabled 800 Vraxian warships. The remaining 400 retreated in panic. Not a single human ship took damage. Captain Junho opened channels again. "I will ask one more time, bring me your emperor, or we will come down and get him ourselves." This time, there was no laughter. Only fear. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Earth's forces moved with perfect coordination. On the planet Kiros, General Hyun Park led the liberation of slave colonies. 200,000 beings from 15 different species had been forced to work in mines for decades. "Move in," General Hyun ordered. "Secure all exits. No council guards escape." His soldiers moved like shadows. They wore armor that bent light, weapons that fired with no sound. In 12 minutes, they disabled all council forces at the colony without a single casualty. General Hyun walked into the main compound. Thousands of enslaved beings stared at him. They had never seen a human before. "You are free," he announced simply. "The council will not hurt you again. We have ships waiting to take you home." One of the freed beings stepped forward. A Taloran female. "Why would you help us? You don't even know us." "Because slavery is wrong," General Hyun said. "No matter who it happens to. And because we remember when others needed help, now we can give it." Dr. Taeyang Shin stood on a Earth military vessel above a council fortress world. His gravitational disruptor was ready for its first real test. The device could manipulate gravity itself. Create it, remove it, bend it. "Sir, the fortress has defensive shields rated to withstand planet-killer weapons," an officer reported. "Let's see how they handle this," Dr. Taeyang said. He activated the disruptor. Space around the fortress warped. Gravity increased by a factor of 10, then 20, then 50. The defensive shields, designed to stop energy weapons, could do nothing against gravity itself. They collapsed instantly. Every weapon system on the fortress went offline. The base was intact but completely helpless. "Shields down," Dr. Taeyang reported to command. "0 casualties. They can rebuild after they learn their lesson." In the council chamber, panic had replaced celebration. Reports flooded in from every corner of the galaxy. Human ships appearing. Council forces defeated. Slaves freed. And not a single civilian casualty. Earth was being surgical, precise, merciful in their fury. The Krillian delegate stood. "This is impossible. They are primitives. How do they have such technology?" Counselor Nari Lee's voice came through their communication system. She had hacked into it hours ago. "You saw what we wanted you to see. For 50 years, you believed your own lies. You thought we were weak because we acted weak. That was your first mistake. Your second mistake," Nari continued, "was assuming we were alone. We've been building alliances, speaking with the species you enslaved, learning from them, helping them in secret. While you celebrated your power, we built something better." Ambassador Minji walked into the council chamber. 50 human soldiers in advanced armor walked with her. They had simply appeared in the middle of the most secure building in the galaxy. The council's security hadn't even detected them until they were inside. "How?" the speaker gasped. "Teleportation," Minji said simply. "One of many things you don't know about us." She walked to the center floor. The same place where the Emperor had insulted her species hours before. "I told you that you made a miscalculation," Minji said. Here's the calculation you got wrong. You assumed silence meant weakness. You assumed patience meant fear. You assumed our kindness was surrender. You were wrong on all counts. A hologram appeared. It showed President Jiho from Earth. Galactic Council. Your forces are defeated across 40 systems. We have freed 200,000 slaves. We have disabled your military. And we have done all of this in less than 6 hours. He paused to let that sink in. But we are not conquerors. We did not come to rule you. We came to stop you. The council is dissolved. Your power over other species ends today. In 7 days, we will hold a new assembly. All species will have equal representation, including the ones you enslaved. You cannot do this, the Krillian delegate shouted. We are the council. We rule the galaxy. No, President Jiho said firmly. You bullied the galaxy. There's a difference. And that ends now. At Vraxian Prime, the Emperor finally appeared before Captain Junho. He came in person, transported to Junho's flagship. The Emperor who had called humans animals now stood in a human ship, surrounded by human technology that made his empire look ancient. You lied to us, the Emperor said angrily. You hid your true capabilities. No, Junho corrected. We simply didn't show you everything. You never asked. You never wanted to know. You assumed we were weak and stopped looking. What do you want? The Emperor asked. To destroy us? No, Junho said. We want you to answer for your crimes. The species you enslaved, the colonies you destroyed, the Taloran you murdered. All of it will be investigated. There will be trials. Justice. I am an emperor, he roared. You were an emperor, Junho said calmly. Now you're a war criminal. Your empire is dissolved. Your military is disarmed. Your people will be free to choose their own government. Without you, across the galaxy, 16 council species tried to form a resistance. They called themselves the Defense Pact. They swore to fight Earth together. Counselor Nari smiled when she heard about it. They formed a pact. How nice. Should we be worried? An aide asked. No, Nari replied. We've had agents inside their governments for years. We know their plans before they make them. We know their military codes, their supply lines, everything. The Defense Pact will collapse within a week. She was right. 3 days later, the Pact learned that Earth knew every detail of their secret plans. They surrendered immediately. Lieutenant Salmon led the first integrated military unit, humans and aliens working together. Among them were freed slaves, former council citizens who opposed the old ways, and even some Vraxian soldiers who had defected. Can we trust them? A human soldier asked her. We have to start somewhere, Salmon replied. The council ruled through fear and separation. We'll build something better through trust and cooperation. Even if it's hard. In 1 week, Earth's military achieved what seemed impossible. They defeated a galactic government that had ruled for centuries. They freed hundreds of thousands of slaves. They disarmed the most powerful empires in known space, and they did it with minimal casualties on both sides. The galaxy would never be the same. And Earth had barely shown its full capabilities. The council had poked a sleeping giant. Now they would live with the consequences. 1 year after the reckoning, Ambassador Hana Park stood in a very different council chamber. This one was built on a neutral moon. No single species controlled it. The room was circular, with no positions of higher importance. Every species sat as equals. She looked around at the assembled delegates. 47 species from the old council were there. But now they were joined by 68 others. Species that had been enslaved, species that had been oppressed, species that the council had ignored. All of them had equal voices now. The first assembly of the new Galactic Alliance will now begin, Hana announced. She served as the first chancellor, not because Earth demanded it. The freed species had voted for her. They trusted her. President Jiho Huang sat in Earth's delegation. He watched Hana with pride. She had endured 3 years of insults to bring them to this moment. She deserved to see the result. The first order of business was uncomfortable but necessary. War crimes, tribunals. Over the past year, investigators had gathered evidence. The list of crimes was long: slavery, genocide, resource theft, forced labor, murder. The former Vraxian emperor was brought before the assembly in restraints. He looked smaller than before, less imposing. Without his empire, he was just one being among billions. You stand accused of war crimes against 23 species. Hana read from the official charges. Over 5,000 documented cases of murder. Enslavement of 200,000 beings. Theft of resources from 40 systems. How do you plead? Hana read from the 40 systems. How do you plead? The emperor looked at her with hatred. I plead that I am a victim of human aggression. You attacked us without provocation. Hana pulled up a recording. The emperor's own words from 1 year ago. These creatures are too stupid to govern themselves. They must be collared like animals. The chamber watched in silence. Then Hana played another recording. The Taloran mining station being destroyed. Escape pods exploded. Hundreds dying. This is your justice? Hana asked quietly. Murdering peaceful miners because they wouldn't give you what you wanted? The emperor had no answer. You will be tried fairly, Hana continued. Something you never gave your victims. The tribunal will decide your fate. But your empire is gone. Your power is gone. You will spend the rest of your life answering for what you've done. Similar trials happened across the galaxy. Not everyone from the old council was guilty. Many delegates had opposed the worst policies. They were judged individually. The Alliance believed in justice, not revenge. Captain Junho, now Fleet Admiral Junho Kim, oversaw the military restructuring. The old council fleets were being dismantled. Weapons that could destroy planets were destroyed themselves. Only defensive ships remained. Earth will provide security for the next 50 years, Admiral Junho announced to the assembled military leaders. Not as conquerors, as peacekeepers. We will protect all species equally. We will prevent wars. We will ensure everyone can live in peace. A Krillian officer spoke up. He had been part of the old council military. Why should we trust you? You defeated us easily. You could rule us like we ruled others, because we don't want to rule you. Junho said simply. We want you to rule yourselves. Freely. That's the whole point. General Hyun Park stood beside him. Power isn't about who you can defeat. It's about who you choose to protect. We choose to protect everyone, even former enemies. Lieutenant Summon Jang, now Captain Summon, trained the new integrated forces. Humans worked alongside Vraxians, Krillians, Taloran, and dozens of other species. It wasn't always easy. Old prejudices died slowly. In 3 months, you will graduate as the first Alliance Defense Force, she told her recruits. You will protect civilians. Respond to emergencies. Stop pirates and criminals. You will not conquer. You will not enslave. You will serve. A young Vraxian recruit raised his hand. Captain, my father fought against Earth during the Reckoning. He tells me humans are dangerous. We are dangerous, Salmon agreed. To those who hurt the innocent. To those who enslave others. To those who abuse their power. But to everyone else? We're the best friends you could have. Dr. Yuna Choi established the Xenological Exchange Program. Scientists from every species shared their knowledge freely. Medical advances. Agricultural techniques. Engineering solutions. Everything was available to everyone. The old council hoarded knowledge. Yuna explained at the program's opening. They kept the best technology for themselves. That ends today. We all benefit when we all advance together. She worked closely with Taloran scientists. They had unique approaches to energy generation. Combined with human quantum computing, they developed clean power sources that could change civilization. A Krillian scientist approached Yuna nervously. Dr. Choi, I must apologize. I helped prepare the study that claimed humans were inferior. I falsified data. I'm sorry. Yuna looked at him for a long moment. Then she smiled. Apology accepted. Now let's work together on something truthful. I could use your expertise in crystalline structures. Ambassador Minji Seo returned to the Alliance as Earth's chief negotiator. She helped write the new laws, the new rules. Everything was designed to prevent another council from forming. No species can be banned from star systems without cause, she read from the proposed charter. No species can be enslaved under any circumstances. No species can be denied representation. All beings have fundamental rights. The charter passed unanimously. Even the former council species voted for it. They had learned their lesson. President Jiho Huang gave a speech on the anniversary of the reckoning. 1 year ago, we revealed ourselves to the galaxy. We showed our true strength. But that wasn't our finest moment. Our finest moment is now. Building something better. Creating a galaxy where everyone is respected. Where everyone is safe. He paused and looked at the camera. To those who doubted us. Who called us weak. Who thought silence was surrender. You were wrong. But we forgive you. Because holding grudges helps no one. We move forward together. Or we don't move forward at all. On the anniversary, something unexpected happened. The Vraxian people held elections. They chose a new government. A democracy. Their first representative came to the Alliance and made a formal apology. My people were wrong, she said. We followed a tyrant. We believed lies about our superiority. We harmed countless beings. We are deeply sorry. We will spend generations making amends. Hana stood and walked to the Vraxian representative. She extended her hand. The human gesture of peace. Then, let's start today. Together, Captain Junho's ship, the Silent Watcher, returned to Earth's edge. Back where it started. Still watching. Still observing. But everything was different now. Sir, why are we still out here? Lieutenant Salmon asked. The war is over. We won. We're not watching for enemies anymore, Junho explained. We're watching for problems. Pirates. Natural disasters. Species that might need help. The job changed. But it's still important. He looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, species were building new lives. Former slaves were free. Children were growing up in peace. The galaxy was healing. Do you think it will last? Salmon asked. I don't know, Junho admitted. Peace is harder to maintain than war. It requires constant work, constant vigilance, constant choosing to do the right thing, even when the wrong thing is easier. Sounds exhausting, Salmon said. It is, Junho agreed, but it's worth it. On Earth, Admiral Minho Kang retired. He had served for 60 years. He had planned Earth strategy, waited 50 years for the right moment, led them through their greatest test. At his retirement ceremony, President Jiho gave him a medal. You knew when to hide, when to wait, and when to act. Because of you, we won, without becoming like them. Minho accepted the medal humbly. I just gave orders. The people carried them out. Every person who stayed quiet when insulted. Every soldier who showed mercy when they could have taken revenge. Every scientist who built defenses instead of planet killers. They're the real heroes. Dr. Yuna published her final report on the reckoning. It was titled, The Power of Patience. In it, she explained how Earth's 50-year strategy worked. We didn't win because we were stronger, she wrote. We won because we were smarter. We learned everything about them while they learned nothing about us. We built alliances while they made enemies. We prepared for peace after war, while they only prepared for war. That's why we won. And that's why the peace will last. Ambassador Hana stood in her office on the neutral moon. Through her window, she could see ships from 100 species, all working together, all equal. She thought about her first day in the old council. The insults. The mockery. The loneliness. It seemed like a lifetime ago. In a way, it was. That galaxy was gone. This new one was better. Her assistant entered. Chancellor, the Vraxian delegation is here. They want to discuss trade agreements. Hana smiled. Send them in. Let's build something good together. Hana, Earth had stayed quiet for 50 years. The galaxy thought it was weakness. They learned the truth too late. Humanity's greatest strength was never their weapons or their ships. It was their patience, their ability to endure, their willingness to wait for the right moment. And when that moment came, they didn't conquer. They liberated. They didn't rule. They guided. They didn't take revenge. They built peace. The galaxy would never forget the lesson. When humanity speaks, listen. Because if you push them too far, they'll remind you why silence was never weakness. It was mercy, and mercy, once exhausted, is hard to find again. But in this new galaxy, mercy flowed freely. Because Earth showed everyone that there was a better way.